What do you think of Christian Gonzalez? Because I'll tell you, Mazz, for all the good of Drake May that night, I think one of the bads was Gonzalez. You've heard this, and I'm using air quotes here, concern about Gonzalez at camp. I don't think he's making that go away. He got burned by John Ross. Do you know he was retired? Do you remember John Ross, like the bust drafted by the Bengals, 9 overall, I think it was 2017?
Out of Washington?
He played there last year, right?
Yeah.
No, he was out of Washington.
Oh, he was
out of University of Washington.
He played with the Giants last year.
He could fly.
Yeah, and he had retired from football. But he came back to play with the Eagles. Like, he was cooked. He was done. He was a bust. He had Gonzalez by like 3 or 4 yards.
That was the one on the left sideline?
Yeah, and if it wasn't for stupid Kenny Pickett overthrowing him, I mean, it's another one. You look at like, what's going on with this guy who was looked at, Paul, and I think maybe people collectively overrated Christian Gonzalez a bit last year, the 3 games we saw him, and people were talking about him like he's Deion Sanders in the mid-'90s. But every time I read about him, whether it's at camp or you see like Thursday night, he got burned by Tyquan Thornton today, it's like, what's going on here? Am I premature with my freak out about Christian Gonzalez?
Can I give it like a small C concern?
Okay.
Like I think
unfortunately, it's allowed.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's nothing because I'm not convinced. He's only played 3 games, 3+ games in his career. And I kind of agree with your assessment that I think we've all been guilty of sort of ascending this guy to a spot that he has yet to earn. And I think Mayo actually made reference to that earlier in training camp. He was asked a question about the depth at corner, to go along with Gonzo and Jonathan Jones. And as part of his answer, Mayo sort of included, and Gonzo too. He needs to, establish his level. And I think he said something about greatness is rented, not owned, or something like that. So it was something that he had sort of noticed. And now lately, the last week or so, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of questions about Gonzalez. He talked about it a little bit. He talked about that play that you're talking about, Jim, and he took full responsibility. He said that just a terrible, terrible play by me. Terrible rep. I had bad eyes, bad rep, and it was tough to watch the film. Like, he didn't say I was supposed to have help over the. Yeah, he didn't pull that defensive back thing that way. Everybody looks palms up at each other. In other words, Sean Springs, 2009. He didn't let everybody know that it wasn't him. It was someone else. He took full responsibility for it, but he has given up some catches. I just wonder where the intensity level is. Like, is it training camp for him? Is it? That's why I say small C concern.
He's not engaged, Paul.
I'll tell, but is that acceptable?
No,
because I would tell you from watching Revis, from watching Talib, Ty Law. I mean, even Malcolm Butler, who didn't have a fraction of the talent as those guys.
But those were tone-setter guys.
They refused to give up a catch and walk through.
Yeah.
Like, their competitiveness was off the charts. And I haven't seen that. I think you watch Gonzalez, and he just, like, there's a picture of cornerback, and that's it. He's so fluid. He's so athletic, and he makes it look so easy at times. I wonder, Mazz, is he not engaged, or did he just make it look so easy because he is so fluid? I don't know, but it's something I'm going to watch for, in the early part of the season to see how he gets off to how he breaks out of the gates here, because he's given up more catches than you would think for your number one corner.
Murray, when Bedard wrote about this early in camp, I asked him at one point, does the kid have an entitlement problem? And Bedard didn't exactly disagree. And the big boy, as we know, is prone to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I see that. This kid, but who is there to challenge him for the position? Nobody. Right? I mean, he's going to start.
They could have used some veteran help there. This is why I was bummed to see Stephon Gilmore go to the Vikings yesterday. Like, and wasn't there some supposed interest, or wasn't that written about, like, Gilmore?
Well, I think Gilmore had said he'd be open to anything.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
He ain't the player he used to be.
Well,
but
he's pretty good still.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if he would have been interested in coming here. Like, I think Minnesota probably thinks of themselves as a fringe playoff team. They'll have a shot, and at this point, Gilmore couldn't be too picky, being unemployed in mid to late August. But, yeah, I think that they needed another sort of veteran corner. They have a bunch of young guys that are competing every day. Alex Austin, Marco Wilson, Isaiah Bolden, rookie draft pick Marcellus Dial. He's the kid who gave up a couple of catches in the game the other night. They look good sometimes, and other times they're out of position and giving up plays. So, talking to the coaches, they seem to be pretty excited about the depth. But I think that there's a a pretty glaring lack of depth at that spot.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.